Dipak Bagopin, Minister of Information Technology, Communication and Innovation, Ms. Namandegong Siopa, Head Public Policy for South Africa Region, MITA, Ms. Kojo Boache, Public Policy Director, META, who is present via video conference, Ms. Sandrine Valère, Permanent Secretary, dear guests and friends, representatives from the press, ladies and gentlemen. We are not here to talk about the metaverse, even though this is a great innovation ahead. We are here today for the Facebook Hub content and misinformation policies roundtable. I invite now on stage Ms. Namandegong Siopa, Head Public Policy for South Africa Region, MITA.
Bonjour, a very good morning to you all, ladies and gentlemen. If I was in South Africa, my bed country, I would be saying to you, Morweni, Sanibonani, Dumelang, or Huyemore. My name is Namonde Okanasoba, and I'm Head of Public Policy at META, responsible for the SADC region. And on behalf of META, formerly known as Facebook, I would like to welcome you all to our misinformation deep dive. The misinformation deep dive is META's in-depth session that showcases our approach and response to misinformation. Our objectives for the deep dive are to inform and educate policymakers, regulators, key stakeholders, and the public at large on the strategies that we have put in place as META to tackle head-on misinformation. In our midst, I would like to recognize the presence of Honorable Minister Bagopin, Permanent Secretary Ms. Valerie, members of his executive who as a collective have ensured that there was an ongoing dialogue between ourselves as META. I'd also like to recognize representatives from the Mauritian Ministry for ICT and also representatives from SET-MU. So in a 2019 report, a post by digital disruptor and innovator, 22-year-old Adisa Bumutife explained that the internet is knowledge, and knowledge is power. He understood that the ability of the internet to serve as a platform for disseminating information to all and sundry, regardless of race, gender, or nationality, is what makes the internet a global tool trusted by billions of people around the world. We acknowledge the role of the internet and our platforms as META in enabling access and advancing human rights. However, we are concerned that internet rights and freedom in particular, the right to access information and freedom of expression is threatened by the prolific rise of online harms. As META, we are concerned that misinformation poses unique threats to the internet. As aptly noted by the recent report of the current UN Special Report on Freedom of Expression, Irene Khan had this to say: misinformation is not a new phenomenon. What is new is that digital technology has enabled pathways for false and manipulated information to be created, disseminated, and amplified by various actors for political, ideological, or commercial motives at the scale, speed, and reach never known before. Interacting with political, social, and economic grievances in the real world, misinformation online can have serious consequences for democracy, human rights, elections, and perhaps the response to the coronavirus pandemic, and again, attacks on minority groups. Misinformation is politically polarizing. It hinders people from meaningfully exercising their human rights. With that above stated, Honorable Minister and esteemed guests, kindly be assured that it is our aim as better to have open, frank, and honest conversation around our role as a business and platform in curbing misinformation and advancing access to information. And hence the presentations that we have lined up today to be delivered by our very formidable team and capable individuals who are subject matter specialists in their areas of work, who will today tackle the following topics: Meta's community standards, our misinformation strategy, global operations, and also, lastly, our escalation channels that we've put in place. We hope that you will find these presentations informative and also insightful. And on that note, I will pause here and I'd like to thank you all.
I have to say, I have one regret today that I can't be with you in person. Some people in the audience will know I've worked with Mauritius and Mauritians for almost 20 years. Starting my time in Congo. I also spent my very enjoyable honeymoon in Mauritius, so I look forward to visiting you soon. The importance of Meta's engagements with key stakeholders, including civil society organizations, businesses, small and large, and government ministries responsible for the development of the digital economy cannot be overstated. At Meta, we appreciate how important they are if we are to collectively ensure that our platforms are used and enjoyed in ways that promote internet rights, as well as the freedoms, social cohesion, and socio-economic development we know they can drive. We are collectively faced with amazing opportunities as well as significant challenges. We have the means to access an abundance of information and the ability to connect with others like never before, to ensure the freedom of expression that underscores human rights and drives the kind of development that will enable African countries, most notably Mauritius, to take their role at the forefront of global development. As noted by the UN Special Rapporteur, Frank LaRue, the importance of taking a rights-based approach to access to information by, I quote, enabling individuals to exchange information and ideas instantaneously and inexpensively across national borders, and ensure the internet allows access to information and knowledge that was previously unattainable, is essential if these development goals are to be achieved. We know, however, there are risks. We know that people can spread misinformation on our platforms because they're new to the internet or unsure if what they're sharing, often with loved ones and friends, is true. We also know that entities, people, and in some cases governments, are intent on using our platforms for disinformation. And there is a distinct difference between the two, which I know people in the audience will discuss today. Mauritius, along with the rest of the world, is faced with these challenges, and we know the efforts of the ministry and colleagues in ICTA to engage with Meta to determine the best ways to tackle these threats in a way that will enable all Mauritians to extract the very best benefits of the internet while mitigating these risks. This is why I believe, and my colleagues do as well, that this engagement today is so important. Discussing how Meta and other tech companies in time are thinking about the kind of policy issues that we face today is a key ingredient in efforts to develop the digital economy to its optimum. I'm confident today's session and open and constructive dialogue will enable our experts to learn much more about your concerns, but also give you the opportunity to learn about the considerable efforts that Meta is going to tackle misinformation and disinformation, and the impact that these efforts are having. In our experience, these sessions support governments in their development of pragmatic policy and regulation that helps mitigate the risks posed by the internet and social media, while ensuring the rights-based approach to information that underpins digital development is upheld. I'm excited by today, but also excited by the program of events that we will have in Mauritius over the coming months. This will be followed by the events over the next couple of days will be followed by a digital literacy roadshow aimed at equipping the youth and the general public with the skills to use our platforms responsibly and navigate the threats of the internet. A boost with Facebook roadshow to enable entrepreneurs and SMBs in the tourism sector to leverage our platforms to meet their business goals. And training for civil society organisations and non-profits that use our platforms to uphold human rights and drive digital development. I wish you the very, very best for today's session, and I very much look forward to learning how it goes. Thank you ever so much for your time, and good morning again.
During the last few months for their much needed support and guidance regarding various issues that have been raised on Facebook lately. But I must say that it is a matter which I have personally taken up, as a number of complaints pertaining to Facebook were alarmingly increasing. Be it complaints lodged at the cybercrime of the police or at the search MU of the National Computer Board, which falls in the my ministry. And I am informed that we have, since January to date, only 4 complaints about Facebook incidents. We have more than 1,600 incidents that have been raised with MOCOS, the Mauritian Cybercrime Online Reporting System, and more than 220 complaints at the cybercrime of police related only to Facebook incidents. The concerned authorities dealing with Facebook incident, which is CERT, and the cybercrime of the police, work in collaboration to tackle these complaints. And one of the main issues which has constantly been flagged was relatively long time taken by Facebook to assess whether any particular incident is against their community standards and to remove those contents eventually, which were causing prejudice to Mauritian users. And this is how I've raised all those points to our friends who's made up, shared those information, shared those concerns. And in July this year, I took the initiative to write to the CEO of Facebook, Maurice Info, to raise the matter at the highest level possible. And eventually, after my letter, latter delegated the region, that is South Africa, that overlooks our region, Mauritius, South Africa, African region, and Kojo, who is the director of public policy of African region and based in UK, to establish contacts in communication with Mauritian authorities. Since then, we had several online meetings and discussions, and this is how we have commonly agreed to hold a series of workshops and informative sessions with various stakeholders in Mauritius. The aim was reducing the spread of false news, fake information, harmful contents, misinformation, reducing hate speeches, incitement to violence on Facebook, which may trigger civil unrest, social disorder, and showing to the government of Mauritius and its people steps taken by Facebook to tackle misuse of the platform. Because Facebook platform is a social platform. It is used to socialize. But unfortunately, there are people, ill-intentioned persons, that uses the platform to create disorder. So today, the first of a series of workshops that will be organized by Meta in collaboration with the ministry to tackle the various misinformation campaigns. For example, that is in the case for COVID-19 pandemic, and also to propose a comprehensive approach to help address information crisis and fake news on the social network platform. Ladies and gentlemen, in this very difficult time of COVID-19 pandemic, we have seen the mushrooming of misinformation and fake news everywhere on COVID-19. Whether you see it on social media, on some channels, website. Last year, during the first wave of the pandemic, we witnessed quite a high number of cases of fake news being reported in relation to the infection caused by the virus. And ironically, fake news spread more rapidly than genuine news. This is a global problem affecting society across the world. Staying quiet and doing nothing is not the solution to growing fake news and misinformation. Because the damages that the misinformation and fake news can cause to a society, to an individual, to a family, are quite dramatic. In fact, the diffusion of false information on a daily basis creates a false sense of truth that some people might come to believe. Having created false images in their mind, such people harbor unjustified fear, which can only make them disrupt the authorities and vent out their thoughts on social media. Very often, fake profiles are used to post irregular contents, objectionable contents, with the objective of targeting a specific group or a person. Our country is a multi-racial one. Such harmful content, especially those with communal tones, posted on social media, can ignite dangerous conflicts, having irreversible consequences. So, ladies and gentlemen, as a responsible government and Minister of ICT, we have established a mechanism involving the concerned authorities in Mauritius and Meta to handle complaints, and actions were taken during the last few years. But in most cases, the process is very lengthy, and most of the complaints that we receive, the process takes much time. Taking down misinformation such as fake news or hate speech that can cause harm to users in the real world is a situation which is not in our hands. You can imagine how viral fake news, for example, can become. We need to restore confidence in the cyber dialogue. And you would understand that recently government has passed the new law in Parliament. The Cyber Security and Cybercrime Bill was passed last week with the idea to protect the vulnerables to protect against fake profiles, to protect our citizens, our society against fake news, and I'm sure that such an initiative is also welcome by Meta, because we are all looking at the one direction, how we can use social media responsibly. In order to strengthen our collaboration with Meta for a quicker and more effective response, both parties have agreed on a series of workshops that, starting today, tomorrow with SMEs, and eventually target our children, teenagers who are very active on Facebook, and a series of workshops that will continue next year, as mentioned by our friend Koju. It is also good to share with you that during our discussions with Meta, we informed the need for Meta to hire Mauritian, be it the Mauritian diaspora or be it Mauritian, to be able to help, because one would understand that sometimes when there are posts in Creole, Mauritian language, it is difficult for Meta to assess whether those posts are against the community standards. And I'm informed by Meta that this is a scenario that has been taken into consideration, and there are Mauritians that are working with Meta to be able to fasten the process of looking at all those posts that one could complain about or have lodged any complaint at authorities. So, ladies and gentlemen, on this note, I wish to once again thank Meta for their collaboration, and we are honored to have you amongst us for this two-day workshop and tomorrow. On behalf of the government of Mauritius, let me reassure you that you have our full support. We are going to work in collaboration, and we look forward for a stronger, long-lasting and enhanced partnership for the benefit and one benefit. I will end here and wish all the participants a fruitful deliberation, be it online, be it present here, and I thank you all for your attention.